Thank you so much, Jim and Sandy, for having me. Talking about Episcopal is one of my favorite things, so this is a great way to start my day. Thank you. I thought I'd just start off giving everybody some of the basic facts about Episcopal High School. We have 440 students, and they come from all over the U.S. and all over the world. One of the really nice things about Episcopal High School is that we are 100% boarding. So every single student lives here on campus. It doesn't matter if they are coming from Beijing or from just a block down the road. The students live here on the campus in the dorms and together, which is really, really wonderful. We are 50% boys and 50% girls, so it's a nice even split, a lot of very good diversity and balance there. Academically, we are focusing not just on the academics of the student. We really want to focus on the whole student and their whole experience. And so we are looking to help students develop their honor, to grow spiritually, to develop ethical leadership skills, and also to be of service to their community. And that community could be our local community here at Episcopal High School. It could be our surrounding area, could be the country, could be the world, and we really focus on all of those different layers with our students here. We do have a very dynamic and challenging academic program. All of our students are challenged and really, really pushed academically where they're strong, but there's also a lot of really good support. Scott mentioned earlier, over 90% of our faculty live on campus, as well as 100% of the students. And so finding those moments where students and teachers are just grabbing each other to ask a quick question really quickly, they're all throughout the day. And so if a student is struggling with a certain concept or a certain idea in class, it's really easy to get that extra help. And so it's challenging, but there's still a lot of support and still a lot of help for students to get. We do have really, really broad programs in both athletics and the fine arts. And so students are exposed to so many things here. Hopefully, if a student is really passionate about a certain activity, whether it's in the athletic arena or within the fine arts, we want to be able to provide those experiences here in their disciplines. But we really want to also offer the broad experience so that if a student has never, acted on stage before, but has always wanted to try, we want them to be able to do that. And if a student has always wondered what it would be like to go rock climbing and to be in a rock climbing competition, we want them to be able to do that too. And so there's a lot of neat opportunities for the students in our afternoon options. One of the most unique features of Episcopal High School is that we are so close to Washington, D.C. Door to door, it is less than 10 kilometers from our house here at Episcopal High School to the White House. And so it's, having a 100% boarding school located in, such an important global city is a really amazing experience for the students, both with academic opportunities all throughout the academic week, but then also on weekends when we're going out and doing fun things or even educational things on the weekends. There's just so much at our disposal that the students really get to take advantage of. And Episcopal High School is a very, very diverse place. We have about 12% of our student population coming from outside of the United States. About 20 and even maybe a little higher for this upcoming year, 20 to 25% are some kind of American minorities. And so everybody is here and learning from each other and learning about new cultures and all kinds of things. So there are a lot of options for students to take. So we have over 140 courses in 8 different departments. We have 75 advanced and honors level courses which go on to take the AP test and do quite well there. There are possibilities for independent study in your junior and senior year here at Episcopal High School. If there is a topic that you are really, really interested in and there's a faculty member that's able to help support and guide you through an independent study of that topic, we're happy to do that. And then also we are a member of the Global Online Academy Network. And so if there are courses or subject areas that you really want to explore that we don't have here, but are offered through the Global Online Academy, you can take some online classes and learn that way, which is one of the reasons why Episcopal was able to pivot so quickly to an online model. So a lot of our teachers had some really good experience teaching that way. Obviously, your teachers are a big part of your academic experience, but faculty members here at Episcopal High School are so much more than just teachers, and you're going to get to know them at a much different level than you are familiar with kind of normal public or day schools. So there's certainly going to be your teachers, and you're going to be sitting in classes and really digging into subjects deeply with your teachers, which is fun. But your teachers will also be advisors and mentors, coaches, dorm parents. They'll be your chauffeurs on the weekends, taking you to different events all around Washington, D.C. So there's a really, really fun dynamic and close relationships developed between students and teachers that are amazing. The statistic that's on the screen is actually a little bit low now. So we're up over 90% of our faculty living on campus, which is really, really wonderful. And over 81% of those faculty members hold some kind of an advanced degree in the subject area that they're teaching. As I mentioned before, being so close to Washington, D.C. is a major feature of Episcopal High School. Of the schools in the U.S. that are 100% boarding, and they're really not that many anymore. Most boarding schools do have some day students that attend. But of the schools that are 100% boarding, Episcopal High School is the only 100% boarding school that is within the major metropolitan area. So there are a lot of schools that are way far out in the countryside, and those schools are wonderful and great, but it's a very different experience than being here at Episcopal and having access to so many different things. So some of the different ways that we use Washington, D.C., the first and most significant way is our Washington program, which basically has helped redesign Episcopal's entire schedule. And so starting this next year, with the way that our schedule has been organized, every single subject that you take will have a 2.5 to 3 hour block of time to travel into Washington, D.C. for some kind of hands-on experience-based learning opportunity. And that will happen or can happen rather for each class once every 2 weeks. And so it may be, a week where 2 or 3 times you're going into Washington, D.C. in a given week to go meet with a subject area expert. For example, I know before we left campus, when our biology class was studying cancer, they went and met with a doctor at the National Institutes of Health that was using gene therapy to fight cancer. So really, really cool stuff. And you get to have these conversations with people that are actually using the information that you're studying in the classroom, and they're using that information in real life in really interesting ways. All of our seniors, all of our 12th graders for the month of May have what we call our senior externships. And so they basically stop going to classes for the last month of their experience here at Episcopal High School and go out into the real world and, basically have jobs. And it could be anything from, working in and around the political buildings of Washington, D.C. It could be volunteering at a hospital. It could be, working with a law firm. It could be, working at an architectural firm. A lot of it depends on what the student is interested in. You're not just assigned randomly to an externship. It's always in an area that you're really interested in. And then, of course, weekend activities. Our students are constantly going into Washington, D.C. on the weekends just to have fun, to go do things. And we have a really robust slate of activities that students can choose from. Or if they want to, they can just hang out on campus, relax. There's a little shopping center that's not too far away that you can just walk to very easily. And you can go and grab some food, grab some ice cream or some donuts, or a bunch of different restaurants there. You can just go and hang out and relax. Being so close to Washington, D.C., it's so convenient. Our students, it feels like they, completely keep Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash and all of those companies, thriving here in the Washington, D.C. area, because they're always ordering food and getting together to hang out and eat here. So there are a lot of neat opportunities being so close to Washington, D.C. Right. Another massive part of your Episcopal high school experience will be the time that you spend with your friends. They are around you way more than the teachers are, obviously. And so by having great friends from all over the world, it's going to make your Episcopal high school experience that much more rich. For our ninth graders, we really try to connect those students very quickly to one another. There is a guided outdoor adventure for 2 to 3 days where you're camping outside and getting to do things with your friends in small groups. And so this is a picture actually of one of the groups from 2 years ago, it looks like, that are out and enjoying the wilderness and doing fun things. It's really nice to be a part of a 100% boarding environment. Your friends are always around you. You don't have friends that are going home at night to live with their parents. They're here in the dorms, and they're in the library and in the student center hanging out, and in the athletic facilities working out, or in the arts facilities practicing with you. So it's really nice to have everyone there. And if you have a group project, you can get together with your friends because you're all living at the same place. So there are tons of activities. You have athletics that you can do, and then also fine arts. With athletics, students have tons of different things that they can choose from. And for really all of these options, there are multiple levels. And so, for example, if you have been playing basketball for years and years and years and years, and you're really good at basketball, there's a team for you, and you can jump on one of those teams and play. But if you are maybe, you've never played squash before, or you've never tried competitive swimming or anything like that, you can also start at the junior varsity level, at a lower level. That's more about developing skills and having that good experience. So our athletics are competitive, but they're also very open to everybody and very positive and welcoming too. And so the fine arts are just as important here at Episcopal High School as our athletics. We're very well known for being good at both and having a very balanced program. We have a really, really beautiful fine arts center that has so much space and so many different nooks and crannies for students to go be creative in, that it's really amazing. For our instrument instruction, all of the instructors are coming from the local area and are professional musicians themselves. And I'm going to flip through some of the pictures, and they're kind of each of the different facets of fine arts. And so, we have 3 or 4 drama productions every single year. We have a full auditorium style theater on campus, but we also have a smaller, more intimate black box theater as well. Our studio art program is amazing. Studio art for a lot of our students here at Episcopal that this will be one of their first introductions into the fine arts by taking one of our studio art electives during their academic day freshman year. Although if you're taking music lessons, or if you are know you're going to be in one of the drama productions or something like that, or if maybe your art is photography or ceramics or a different area, you can certainly take those other subjects instead of the fine art. We have dance here at Episcopal High School, and it's really, really interesting. The dance class goes through all of the different disciplines within the world of dance, and it's offered as a class, but then it's also offered as an afternoon option as well. There was a new addition to the dance program this year, and it was a class. And it was, I forget exactly what it was called, but it was basically dance for athletes. And so it was, helping athletes, learn how to move differently and kind of, gain a different level of coordination. And it was really, really neat to see, basketball players and football players and soccer players, being challenged in very different ways that they weren't used to. And then the school spirit here at Episcopal High School is amazing. The kids enjoy each other so much, and they just love being together. They love Episcopal, and they love the experience that they have here. And they really, like to have fun together. And so, this is an example of a crowd at a football game, but students are always doing things together on the weekends, and there's some things that are organized and kind of developed by the school, but then there's some things where the students are just getting together on their own to have fun and to kind of create memories. So I was just thinking that this picture might need a little bit of an explanation. It's an unusual one. So at the beginning of the year, every year we have dorm games, and where a boys' dorm and a girls' dorm are paired together as a team, and then they compete against the other dorms, or dorm pairs rather, in all kinds of different events. And some events are a little bit more traditional, or it might be some kind of a running relay race, or you'll see in the next slide, there was actually like some swimming this year as a component, which was fun. But this picture is a pie eating contest. And in the pie eating contests, the students are not allowed to use their hands. And so they're just pushing their face into the pie and eating it as fast as they can. And so it looks a little funny and a little weird, but you can see kind of in the background, all the students, or a lot of the students, have their dorm shirts on, and so they're supporting their team. The people that you see kind of dressed in ties there are our cheerleaders, and a cheerleader at Episcopal High School is not a cheerleader with pom-poms at football games, but the cheerleaders are primarily responsible for helping to foster good, positive, fun school spirit at Episcopal. And so sometimes that does revolve around football games and sporting events, but a lot of it revolves around doing fun things on the weekends with the rest of the student body. So this is the swimming portion of the competition. You can see some of the students get dressed up in crazy costumes and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. And we do have school dances and things like that, and DJs and all kinds of stuff that comes to campus. And so there's a lot of fun things that happen on the weekends. We are a religious school in the sense that the school was founded by the Episcopal Church, and that's kind of the foundations of the school. But we do have students of all different faiths and backgrounds here at Episcopal High School, including not having any kind of religious experience at all as well. And so everybody comes together. We do have 2 or 3 required chapel services a week, but each one's short, just 15 or 20 minutes, and they're very, very inclusive. And then at the end of your Episcopal High School experience, you will have been going through amazing classes with wonderful faculty members and friends that are helping you learn and helping you see things with a new perspective. You've done lots of fun things in the afternoons, from sports to fine arts to leadership opportunities and service opportunities. And the end result is that you are a really, really interesting young man or young woman that when you're applying to college, the colleges get really, really excited about having you as a part of their community at the university level. We do have 3 full-time college counselors that help our seniors with the college process. That process really starts in earnest in the 11th grade with the college counselors, but advisors and teachers do a lot of counseling with our younger students about college before that. And so students are starting to think about what they're looking for in college, and maybe in 10th grade, then they're starting to visit some colleges during breaks and things like that. And then 11th grade, they've narrowed down their list and they're maybe going for their more formal school visits during 11th grade. And then of course, in 12th grade, you're applying and taking the SAT, the ACT, and all that good stuff. And so the college counselors help you with all of those things. And the end result is that students go to some really, really wonderful schools all across the nation and also the world. We have students that go to Canadian universities and universities that are based in the UK, and sometimes in Japan as well. So some really interesting possibilities that are out there. Great. And the application process for Episcopal High School is pretty typical and pretty standard for all other boarding schools that you'll be applying to. We don't have any real unusual steps in our process. And having great counselors from Foundation Global, we'll kind of help walk you through all of these steps. But just to go through them very quickly, Episcopal High School does require a varicant interview so that we can kind of get to know you before you potentially visit campus and start the process. We do accept common applications, and so there is not a specific Episcopal High School application that you have to fill out. Using one of the common applications, maybe from the SSAT company, their product's called the Standard Application Online. We also accept the Gateway application. So there are lots of different applications that we accept, and there isn't anything that's just for us. We do ask that you get 3 recommendations from current teachers. So a principal or counselor, some kind of administrator will need to write a recommendation for you, and then your math teacher and your English teacher. We want to see 2 years worth of grades, and so that would be your final grades from this year. If you're applying for the fall of 2021, you would use your final grades from this academic year, and then a progress report from this upcoming academic year. So sometime in maybe December or January, you would send that midterm report that you would get back. We do require both TOEFL and SSAT scores, and then some kind of an interview, whether that interview is on campus while you're here visiting and touring the school, or through some kind of video conferencing, whether it's Zoom or Skype or one of the many other options that are out there. We're happy to do any of those. It doesn't matter how you interview. There isn't any kind of additional value that we place on an in-person interview versus a video conferencing interview. You don't move higher on the list if you are able to make it to campus. Like Mr. Conklin said at the very, very beginning, if all of these things are unavailable, if you can't sit to take the TOEFL or the SSAT, or you can't make it to campus for a visit, those are absolutely things that we will work with. The good news is that you will not be the only person in that situation. certainly if they're not giving the SSAT, there are going to be thousands and thousands of other students from China, from the US, from all around the world that are in that same predicament. So don't worry about that. The important date, so January 15th is our application deadline. Please be pretty mindful with that and get all of your stuff in. If something is being delayed, maybe your transcript hasn't come out quite yet, and it doesn't come out maybe until the beginning of February or something like that, that's totally fine, no problem. Just go ahead and send your admissions officer an email. Let us know, communicate with us, and we'll be able to handle that, no problem. That's not a big deal. And then on March 10th, we send out our notification to families. There is an email, but we also have an admissions portal that families can kind of jump on and check and receive their decision. And then once you've received your decision on March 10th, your family will have a full month until April 10th to weigh all of your different options if you've been accepted into multiple schools. During that time, again, hopefully, you would be able to revisit the school either in person or virtually, maybe meet and talk with a couple students, a couple teachers, things like that, get a better feel for the school so that by April 10th, you can make a good decision. Okay, and then just some quick application statistics. And so in this last cycle, we received over 185 applications from mainland China. And from those applications, we accepted 7 students. And then of those 7 students that we accepted, 5 accepted our offer, 4 9th graders and 1 10th grader. And then for our next cycle for this upcoming year, we are again looking for between 4 and 6 students. Most of those will want to enroll into our 9th grade, but we are looking for the very best candidates. And so if there's a very, very strong candidate that's a good fit for Episcopal, that would be a rising 10th grader or a rising 11th grader, we certainly have the flexibility to accept those students. We do not have any minimum test scores that we require students to reach. And so there's no minimum for the SSAT or the TOEFL. If you look back over the last 4 years of the students from mainland China that have been accepted to Episcopal High School, their average SSAT score was right around 2,200, and the average TOEFL was a 105. But if you fall a little bit below that, that doesn't mean that you have zero chance. And if you are a little bit higher than that, that doesn't mean that you're going to be guaranteed acceptance. We look at a lot of different factors. And that is everything. Thank you so much for your time and for sticking with me. I know it's starting to get a little bit late, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those.